Here we are at the Mercado in Wang Chai, the most wonderful Italian shop selling the most brilliant Italian produce. Let's have a look and see what they've got. As you can see, the most incredible selection of tomatoes. We've got beautiful cherry tomatoes here. We've got Datterini, which are like so sweet. It's like, almost like eating a grape. So the Datterini are incredibly sweet. They've got a very thin skin, but they're quite high acidity when they're green. As they go red, the acidity turns to sugar. I'm going to use the yellow and the red. The yellow for color, quite similar flavor to the Datterini red one, whereas the San Marzano are much milder. They're not as sweet as the Datterini, so they're very, very good for cooking. The San Marzano is the most important tomato in Italy for the bottled tomatoes or in the tins, because it makes all of the tomato sauces in Italy. So these tomatoes are very, very important. This is an Oxheart tomato. It's an incredibly dense tomato. It's the complete opposite to the Datterini. The Datterini is much sweeter. This is much milder, but in the salad it'll work really, really well. This is essentially, they call it the Oxheart tomato because it looks like a heart. Then I got a few tomatoes here. They usually call them tiger tomatoes because they're striped and they look like a tomato. They're very, very dark tomato, almost black inside, but it's very, very sweet tomato. And these lovely little small pointed plum tomatoes, just for texture and flavor. So here we have an amazing selection of vinegars. We've got white wine vinegar, we've got red wine vinegar. They all have a purpose with cooking. The white wine vinegar is fantastic when you marinate things, you add it to a sauce like a salsa verde. But the vinegar I'm going to use today is in the balsamic vinegars because it's much sweeter. So I'm going to choose this one because I think this one is going to have a lovely sweet flavor which will go really nicely with our tomatoes. So I slice the Oxheart tomatoes 1 centimeter thick and then place the large slice of tomato on the plate. Then I get the plum tomatoes and cut them into quarters, removing the white or green stem, which is tough and can be a little bit bitter. I then slice the Datterini tomatoes into quarters and remove the bitter stem. So always use the big tomatoes on the bottom of the plate and put the smaller tomatoes on top, depending on their size. To add extra texture, add the breadcrumbs, the salty goat's cheese, some fresh basil, and then we mix in the radicchio salad with some balsamic vinegar and olive oil. To add extra flavor to the tomatoes, add some sea salt and some black pepper. So the radicchio salad we'll add on top of the tomatoes. You can add a few drops of the balsamic vinegar on top and a bit more olive oil to your taste.